Hey Scott, what's the latest with Russell? He said he dislocated his finger last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he did. He dislocated it. Definitely sore. We'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Did he participate today?
No, but a lot of guys didn't. We watched a bunch of film, and then some of the low minute guys played some half court 4-on-4.
Quinn.
I think you're on, Quentin, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think we can hear you. Yeah, still can't
Still
hear
on
you.
mute.
Yeah.
Yo, can
There
y'all
you
hear me
go.
now?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
there
you.
you go.
There we go. How you doing, Scott, for the
You're
third
doing
time?
good. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well. So last night you all had your struggles from the defensive side of the ball, but in that third quarter with that lineup that included Ish Smith and Davies Bertans, when y'all made that run, the defense was incredible. What could you guys kind of glean from that period of time in that game and apply to games moving forward?
Well, I thought our defense was pretty solid for the 3 quarters, other than the second. We're not going to be perfect. We're going to make some mistakes, but that second quarter, we made so many mistakes. It was got to clean it up. Second half I thought was solid. They have some good players making big plays, and those are going to happen. But the and ones, um, we were not good last year. We started off the season pretty good. The last 4 games, not as good. We've given up 4 to 5 a game. That's too many. We talk about we got to make them make the 2 free throws instead of worrying about just making the one. But those are things that are correctable. Those are things that we can clean up, and we have to. We're in every game, just like last night, tied up with 4 minutes to go. We're in every game. We got to figure out. We gave up 2 and 1s in Embiid last 4 minutes. We gave up a late baseline out of bounds with under 4 seconds, a three to him, and then we gave up another and one to Simmons on a mistake. So those are the things that we have to clean up, and we will. We're right there in every game.
And also, just a quick follow up. What did you see from Jerome Robinson? We've noticed like the last 2 games, he's been like your guy off the bench. And you've talked about how he can help you on offense and has played well on defense. What was your assessment of him last night?
Last night, not as good as the first two. The last 2 games prior to that. For some reason, he was a little banged up going into the game, but he felt pretty good. I thought he gave Milton too much room and too much space and too much of a comfort level. And we have to do a better job of making these guys fill us and put the pressure on them, dictate how we want to play. And I thought that group in that second quarter started it off. Those first 2 minutes, I thought they have whatever 10 points, all off of mistakes and not being physical enough. But he's definitely could have played better.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Zach.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned Rui not playing well last night, and you sat him for the fourth quarter. What did you feel needed to be corrected?
Well, I think Rui, like we talked about today, even Russell even mentioned it. He's the only guy on our team can guard 1 through 5. I mean, he can, if his mind and he's locked in, and obviously he's going to continue to grow and get better and more experiences. But that says a lot. I mean, one of your best players telling the guy that he can guard 1 through 5, and nobody else on our team can. I don't think he had that mindset going into the game. It wasn't just him, but it was a lot of our guys. They just felt comfortable that we played against the best team in basketball, and they're a great defensive team, and we still scored a bunch of points on them. But we gotta make sure that. I'm not saying we can be a top 5 defensive team, but we could be much better than what we're doing. But it's the experience or the inexperience of some guys. That's real, but having the appropriate mindset going into the game, that has nothing to do with experience. I don't think Rui had that last game. That's very rare that's the case. I'm sure, like a lot of our guys, he's going to bounce back tomorrow night.
Fred.
Hey, Scott, we've asked you so much about the 10th man, and you've said it's fluid. In the second half yesterday, you kind of just went with a 9-man rotation. Is that something that we could see going forward as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the league is, that 10th man around the league, and not only just us, it's anywhere from 6 to 12 minutes. We got some opportunities, and we've been checking it out throughout the beginning of the year. And we're also analyzing and watching the guys compete for those minutes during practice. Just not the game minutes. But we have to find somebody that can step in and contribute and be consistent with those 6 to 12 minutes any given game. But we also have the opportunity to play 9. Play maybe more Denny, play a little more Hau, because it seems like Hau does a lot of good things for us, and he's earned a lot of those opportunities to play. It's open. We gotta keep exploring and experimenting and try to find somebody there. Everybody has to be ready. Troy hasn't played the last couple, but he still has to be ready and be ready to play maybe the next game.
And Scott, with a back-to-back coming up, with the resting plan that you guys have done with Russell, as he sat on, you always plan on doing it, or are there scenarios where you could see him if he were going to rest 1 of 2 games where he would?
You're cutting in and out there. Are you
Oh,
just asking
no,
about what we're gonna do?
I was asking the first 2 back-to-backs you guys have. Is my internet okay now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, so the first 2 back-to-backs that Russell has sat for half of, he's sat the second game of them. What's that process like, deciding that he's going to sit the second instead of the first? And is that something that's going to be the case for all of them?
No, I mean, there's not really anything set in stone. It's we're like we talked about, I think last 3 or 4, maybe a week ago. Everybody's involved. Obviously, Russell has the biggest piece. He knows his body and knows better than anyone. So it's not confirmed. We don't have this master schedule and says, okay, he's going to play. And then we also, there's a chance that he could play back-to-backs, which would be the case now. We don't know. We're going to see how he feels tomorrow with his dislocated finger, but don't know if he's going to play tomorrow. Don't know if he's going to play Miami. Don't know if he's going to play both. I'm assuming there's a possibility that anything's on the board. It's always predicated on the player's health, and we obviously will have some conversations with him tomorrow for a breakfast meeting.
Ava?
Hey, Scott. Ish had one of his more impactful quarters last night in the fourth quarter, but games kind of overall. What did you see was working out well for him, either the guys he was playing with or things he was doing individually?
Yeah, I just thought he was better. I thought even the last couple of games, he got less minutes, but I thought he was pretty good on both of those. And then last night, that unit came back and they deserved to try to finish it off. Our second unit has been good in the past, and it's going to continue to be good. It hasn't been as good as I anticipated that it would be, just for a variety of reasons. Not his fault, but a lot of times you just have to tweak some things up and adjust some of the minutes and adjust some of the rotations that make it work. And we kind of did that, where he gets the last 6 minutes of first and the third quarter, and Russ was going to get the bulk of those minutes, and then Hau was going to get some of the other minutes. So I thought he played good. I thought he got it to the paint. We were really good when we were in the paint. We have to get to the paint, not necessarily for yourself, but if we can get shots out of the paint with kick-out threes and opportunity to get to the free throw line, and he's a big part of us doing that.
All right, last question from Chris Miller.
Scotty, you made it clear before the season even started that the guys that were given minutes last year, that wasn't going to be the case this year. But is there a sense of frustration that some of the people that were given those minutes last year are now getting DNPs. Like, how are you? Listen, you're going to reward people that are doing what you're asking them to do, right? But there has to be some sense of a disconnect between those guys playing a year ago to not playing now. What's been the difference in your opinion?
Well, one, I care about all of our players, and I understand that I've been in that position before. Everybody wants to play. This league is not about it. Everybody gets to play league. We were in a different position last year. We got a position that guys, it's been fluid with Jerome, with Troy, with Isak, with Hau. Those are good players, but you can't play them all. We're committed to DB for the right reasons, what he brings, and Denny's won that position. It's not, we did not give him anything. And is he going to have growing pains? Is it going to be a learning curve? Is he going to play 30 minutes every night? No, he only played 15 or 16 last night. But he fought every day in practice, every day today, watching the group 4-on-4. You feel them and you see that urgency in them, and that's what we need. But the other guys have to be ready. I know the frustration's there, and they should be. And if they're not, I don't think we would want them on our team. And some guys I've talked to, some guys I've not talked to, just to give them some time. But I'm going to definitely have conversations with all. But it's definitely tough. But they should be frustrated. But if they're frustrated for the right reasons, because our record's 2-6, I'd rather have that frustration than them being frustrated because they're not getting an extra minutes or shots. But that's not the case. But I'm sure they all want to play, which is very, very normal.
You talked about the and ones, and it's something that's been kind of clear. Obviously, in the first Philly game, under 5, they got a lot of and ones. They got a lot of and ones last night. You played in an era where there wouldn't be a lot of and ones. You would put them on their behind. Do you think I'm not going to say soft, but do you think the league is too friendly now, or are they afraid that if they foul too hard, there could be a flagrant 1 or 2?
Well, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you look at all those old series and all those playoff games and the clotheslines from all the Philadelphia, the Sixers, their rivalry, the Lakers, Celtics, their rivalry, and they were just getting common fouls and maybe $50 fines. It's just different. It's definitely different. When I played, it was you didn't give up layups, you didn't give up free drives to the paint, you didn't give up cuts to the paint, and if you did, you weren't really going to probably fight with your opponent, but the next day in practice, you had probably a verbal or a physical altercation with your teammates because they didn't like that, and it was unacceptable. But it's definitely, quite frankly, Chris, it's actually better. It was getting to a verge of we might as well be one of the NFL teams, because the basketball back then, it was getting too physical, and it was with the athletes now, it would have been extremely dangerous. But with that being said, we can't give up 20. I think we give up 20 of them in the last 4 games. I think we gave up 5 or 6 in the first 4 games. So those are free points, and we can't do that. And we talk about that, and we thought we corrected it, but we reverted back to it. But hopefully tomorrow night you won't see any, and we need to get on a nice string of the games that we foul hard within the rules. We don't want to get a flagrant. We definitely don't want to hurt anybody. Everybody's in this to their livelihood, but we want to be physical. And being physical is not being dirty. Being physical is being tough, touching them up. Don't let them have free cuts. Don't let them gain any real estate for not working for it. And those are things that we have to improve on. Our experiences as the season goes on and as all the guys' career goes on, we will understand how important that is, because when a team plays freely, it's hard to stop. There's so many dynamic offensive players, and when they play freely, it's hard to stop. When they can fill us, and we've had great stretches, we just haven't had a consistent 48 minutes of that. But we have to. But we're right, like I told the guys today, we're right there. We're right there. We gotta keep playing. We gotta keep plugging away. We gotta keep finding ways to improve. And today was another good day. We got on the court, which we haven't been able to do that with our crazy schedule to start this season. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Scotty.
Thanks, Coach.
Ish, last night, you tied the game with a move against Ben Simmons where you drove baseline, you spun around, and then put it off the glass with your right hand, a reverse layup. And I've seen you make that move before. I'm just wondering, where does that move come from? Where was the genesis of that move? Because obviously you've probably done it a million times.
I'm sure y'all thinking like about time. Nah, just a feel. Just trying to be creative. Sometimes you just let your anointing kind of take over and your ability, and you're just kind of in the flow and in the flow of the game. And I felt Ben was on my hip, and a lot of times, a lot of people in the league know when I get baseline, I'm looking for shooters. And so at that specific moment, everybody stayed out. Ben kind of overplayed it. I spin back and kind of felt where he was at and just spinned it back. So it was just a feel, just like everything out there on the floor. It's just a feel. You're just trying to get a feel and a rhythm and a flow. And, I was blessed to make a nice move, a nice play, and tie the game up. But that was a heck of a game. We battled, we scrapped, but it's still so many other things we can get better at to take that next step.
And secondly, defensively, it seems like you guys have shown potential to be better. Some of the numbers look similar to last year, but I'm just wondering, what signs are you encouraged by that you guys can build off of?
Well, we down 21, came back, and with an exception of kind of the second quarter, I thought we did a great job defensively. So just, we scrapped in that fourth quarter and got back in the game in the third and fourth quarter, made some plays, rebounded the ball and pushed it. We get more opportunities when we can get stops and runs. So I think those are positive things to kind of outlook to look upon.
Chris Miller.
Hey, Ish, it seems to be a recurring thing for you guys under 5 in games, giving up a lot of and ones. You've been in this league for over a decade now, so you've kind of seen how the league has gone more offensive.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about just kind of the mindset of just not giving up and ones in closeout situations?
Yeah, I gave up one yesterday on Ben. Actually, when I look back at the play, not a dirty play. I should have just kind of grabbed his arm so it wouldn't allow him to get the ball up to the rim, because we know how athletic and how strong and how big he is. So once he got it above his head, I was gonna have to really, really block it. And as strong as he is, that wasn't the case. So that was one thing. But it's just hard fouls or clean foul, where you're not allowing the guy to get the ball up, to get the opportunity to get an and one. And like I said, it's just clean fouls, good fouls, to where the opportunity of an and one isn't there.
Ava.
Ish, what was working well for you last night in the fourth quarter, especially Scott Brooks? We said it was one of the more impactful kind of quarters and certainly games that we've seen from you in a while.
Yeah, no, like I said, it was about time. I think you guys know, watched me play last year and been in this league for a minute. That's just kind of what I do. Just come in and push the tempo, push the pace, find shooters and score the basketball. I haven't been doing that this year, so I have to kind of get into a flow, get in a rhythm. I don't make excuses. I haven't been playing as well as that I'm capable of, and what y'all, what our fans and what you all are kind of used to. And so last night, was a good indicator. Was better. I thought Minnesota was good, and I thought the other night against Brooklyn was good. So you just got to keep building on it. We got a lot of movable pieces, a lot of talented guys. But you got to, for myself, I look in the mirror, and I had to be better. And last night was a little bit better.
Yeah, kind of on that, what is the process like for you this season? Scott said today you guys actually got a chance to get on the court, unlike, a lot of the other practices. But for you, someone who's coming into games off the bench and doesn't have the normal practice session to get in a rhythm, how are you, I guess, staying ready?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Ava, because we've had days where we don't practice, and I'd be like, no, I'm practicing. because I know for me, everything is a rhythm. It sounds crazy, but it's like, for me, like basketball is kind of like dancing. And some of y'all who can dance, y'all know what I mean. Some of y'all who can't, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But it's like a rhythm. It's like a dance step. And so when you get out there, you want to be in the right rhythm. You want to be on the right cadence, on the right dance steps. And you got to put in that practice, 3-on-3, 4-on-4s. And so I do, attribute that to kind of getting a better rhythm. I set out a little bit in training camp and just different things that it shortened training camp and all those different things. So for me, it's just trying to find that rhythm. And anytime an opportunity, coach says we're going to play 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 and some of the guys he wants to sit out, I'm like, I ain't sitting out. I'm playing. I don't care if this is year 18. I'm going to play because I know for me, it's pushing through a situation and getting into a rhythm. So when it comes game time, you've done those dance steps in practice, and now it feels comfortable.
Quentin.
What's up, Ish?
What's up, Q?
I just wanted to kind of get your pulse on the overall morale of the team. I mean, I remember coming into this camp, especially not just media and fans, but even you guys were just really high on, this year feels different than last. And to start off 2-6, especially after a loss like you all had last night with such huge performances, but not only Brad, but all of you guys, what's the morale in that locker room?
It's actually upbeat. It's crazy because you think about it, Q, every game we gave up a couple leads. And you got to understand we're figuring stuff out. And so it's not just you're plugging a piece in, putting it in. No, these are dynamic pieces, the Russ trade and different guys that, Robin and different guys that you're plugging in, they're dynamic pieces. And so you got to get a rhythm with each other, how you want to play and different things like that. So it's actually really upbeat. It's not like we're getting blitzed. We're in every game in the last 5 minutes. And so it's just cleaning up those fine-tuned things. But guys are really upbeat. Me, I'll get too high, too low, so I'm okay. Right. I get more mad at myself than anybody. So, but we're actually really, really upbeat. It's crazy that you say that because it's no kind of feeling down or feeling bad about where we're at.
And you mentioned the fourth quarter collapses, but you guys are in every single game, especially in the fourth. What do you think goes into really finishing those games on the winning side?
Yeah, I think first and foremost is getting a connection with everybody and knowing where we want the ball at offensively, time and score, and then defensively getting stops, knowing what the other team wants to run and who they want to get the ball to. And like I said, just finding that connection together, that connectivity of where everybody should be on the court, on the offensive end and defensively, where we want to force the ball and where we want to help and rebound and run. When we look at a team like Philly last night, they've added Seth and they've added Danny Green, but for the most part, their team, and Dwight and some other guys, but for the most part, their team was intact, their core pieces.
Right.
We've added some new core pieces in Russ and that dynamic with him and Brad has been special thus far. But they're continuing to learn to play with each other. And like I said, our second unit is starting to continue to learn and grow with each other. So it's a lot of pieces. And we're 8 games in, so we got a long, long haul to go.
Appreciate you, Ish.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ish, I think that's all we got today. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.